Our stream might be starting.
You think?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll try to use my other computer to find out.
Or you could just throw the chat in the chat, and then we can just find out through the chat. Did you like how simple that was?
I didn't quite catch it.
You can throw the chat in the chat, and then we can just find out if it's live because of the chat.
Yeah, I think he used chats and now.
Hey, we're live. It's working.
Oh, great. All right. Well, that works too.
So I don't know. Does the chat work the same way? It might. Hold on. Let me
Should
try.
do.
Let me try.
Again, if you throw that chat into this chat, see, that was my problem.
I get it
I
now.
didn't specify which chat was which.
Put the chat in the chat. We can chat about chat.
Yeah. I mean, I just assumed that everyone understood what I was talking about.
Also, yeah, throw in chat Nuka too, because just to make it more confusing.
Well, we already had the chat with Chattanooga about the chat existing. They were a little hesitant to chat about the chat.
In our chat or their chat?
There we go. Guys,
It was a chat.
It's working. It's actually working.
Live.
Jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Answer.
Oh, yeah, my computer just went black. It's still going. Okay, we're good.
That's amazing.
Recording on our end still.
If you want.
But if it's live, I guess we don't have to.
I love backups, Ryan.
So that's what you guys. You're recording your own end.
Do you have a YouTube chat up for this?
Yeah, Phil sent it to.
Oh yeah, it's in the chat. The chat's in the chat. The chat's
Yeah,
in the chat.
Ryan. God
Which chat's in the chat now?
I had walked away from the laptop for a bit, so.
I wasn't actually mad at you.
I don't
Fucking
see
chat.
it in the chat. Oh, the other chat.
This is good. I mean, man, Abbott and Costello got how many years out of who's on first?
Right.
Let me tell you.
Check.
And no one said third base. That's a loss.
Check. I'm nice and loud, everybody, right?
Hmm?
Okay.
Oh, well, no, Mr. Big J journalism over here. Sneezing right into the microphone.
Here's sorry. I know what I need to do. Check. I can't hear myself very well. Check.
You can't work without Nick Murray retweeting you.
Check. There we go. Now I'm louder and I know how loud I am to you guys.
No, you're really not that bad.
Yeah, it's been fine for her, at least to me.
Yeah, I sounded quiet in my headphones, so I didn't.
Okay,
I kept
cool.
screaming into the mic, and I don't need to be.
Well, I think everyone needs a little more I sound quiet in my head. You know, just really make those voices stop sometimes.
Yeah, well, I just don't like to hear my own voice. Whenever I hear it on anything, I just kind of cringe.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's a part of the human experience.
Yeah, that's why I hate listening back to podcasts I've been on. Because I just...
You just don't do it.
Can I tell you a story about them retweeting that interview and Murray quoting us?
No.
It's humbling.
Oh boy.
Basically, Jason Weintraub he talks to those people, and he was like, "Hey,
Sure.
you should do this," and so it wasn't like,
guys, can you just throw Phil a fucking bone?
Exactly. That's the only reason I tell the story.
It's really mad when you don't do it, so just do it now, and then
You thought I was.
That's your one a year.
You thought I was gonna self-aggrandize, didn't you? You totally did.
The only deprecation I know, Phil, is the deprecation of self.
There we go. That's what I like to try to stick to.
Well, maybe try harder. You're up here. I need you here. I suppose you need me to do an intro.
I'm going to hit record on my end.
Record.
I just hit record.
Recording?
All right, I'm going to.
Great. So let's do a thing. Everyone, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and then everyone will say recording. So that way Phil knows when he can actually start editing the episode. Great.
3, 2, 1, and then recording, or 3, 2, 1, 0.
3, 2, 1, and then everyone says recording after I say 1.
Or just 1, 2, 3.
Nope. Give me 3, 2, 1. Recording,
Oh,
and everyone
man.
says recording when I say recording.
We are on this cheese
One
ball.
Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Phil, to help you, I'm at 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Recording. There it is. Beauty. Hey everybody, welcome to the USL show brought to you by a bevy of people. Let me try and do this from memory. Roughneck Scarves is still here, our longtime sponsor. If you need scarves, if you want to find scarves for your favorite USL or MLS team, because they're the official sponsors of said leagues, roughneckscarves.com. Go check them out. Thanks again, guys. Also joining us, my friend and yours, Icarus FC. They make maybe some of the best custom kits in this country right now. I'm a little biased because I know the guy, but it's good stuff. If you need a kit for your league, for your function, for your podcast, for your whatever, go check them out. IcarusFC.com or anywhere on the social medias, IcarusFCPHL. Another wonderful sponsor. And hey, BGN.FM, Beautiful Game Network podcast. There's 95 of them. I'm still not mad at Brian Cook for starting a podcast a year after we were trying to get him on to do this one permanently. Thank you so much for asking. But if you want to find Brian's podcast, you can. It's No Means Soccer. And a bevy of other podcasts, mostly about USL teams, but there's some MLS. There's a wonderful women's soccer podcast called The Mix Zone. League One Funds there. If you want to find it and it's soccer, you can go do that. Hi everybody, I'm your host, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster, your favorite cheesemonger's favorite cheesemonger, your favorite USL communications director's least favorite DM, Evan Valella. Joined by a couple of my soccer friends, the weightiest man in the St. Louis metropolitan area, and Hangouts revivalist Phil Grooms is here.
Giving it a shot. It's been difficult. Yeah. It's not perfect.
Would you say a Hangouts revivalist is like a Seventh-day Adventist, but for the 21st century?
Right. Like, yeah. It's so 2019 to bring back, Hangouts.
It is so last year to bring back something. You're right. Speaking of bringing things back, I guess he's here too. It's Pony.
Oh, that's a short and disappointing intro.
Oh.
But we're here.
Short and disappointing life, isn't it?
Yeah, that basically sums me up pretty well.
Right. He won't stop going to school, and no, you can't make him. Ryan Allen is here.
Yeah, still in grad school.
Yeah.
Still going.
Maybe try to get Ryan to finish your degree or what have you. I'm projecting now. It's fine.
After this, I'm done with school.
Damn it! I thought I'd have a go. Hey guys, we did a thing. We usually do a thing, but we did a thing and it looks different this year. We filled out a tier list, and we have an aggregate. Now, I think you can find this over on our Twitter. I'm sure we'll post it various other places too if you want to find it as well. The way these tier list works, if you don't know, it's S, A, B, C, D, E. Top rank is S, low rank is E. Gentlemen, I think the way we should do this is start at the low tier because there seem to be a fair bit of similarities between us here, and then work our way up. But before we actually get into what teams are where, what are these tiers? So, I mean, there's an easy joke for everyone to make, so feel free. But what is E tier according to your friends at the USL show?
USL 1, United USL League 1.
Mm-hmm.
Is that agreed on by everyone pretty much?
It sure looks it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just the significantly below average teams, the ones that have almost no hope of playoffs.
Well, the easier joke was that it's just MLS2 sides, isn't it?
It's most of them, at least.
Sides that need a rebrand.
Well, yeah. Or sides that recently rebranded. There really should not be any surprises as to who we think are the runts of the litter, but I will list them off. None of these are in order. I'm literally just reading them from left to right on our tier list. This is not Los Dos are the high end of tier E, but they very well could be. So LA Galaxy 2, Sporting Kansas City 2, Atlanta United 2, Philadelphia Union 2, Kill Me, Portland Timbers 2, and the Tacoma Defiance. Listen, anytime you have an academy kid leave for a better USL sign, it's not going to be great. And actually, that's true for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can think of a couple at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the MLS sides that you'll always see players who are going to get sacrificed in the colony for the mothership.
Yeah, and I mean it's just like with Philly and Portland seem to have been doing it for a while. Tacoma as well, maybe Atlanta. Like all these teams also seem to be the ones that aren't afraid to bring in dudes that literally no one's ever heard of and see if they have anything for a year. You know, which is fine, and like everyone's done that before. But there's a certain level of like not caring about like roster continuity that I think really bites these teams at points.
Among other
Right.
things
Well, yeah.
that I won't repeat for the millionth time.
Yeah, so I mean, there's really not a whole lot to go for these clubs. They're fine. Like if you like watching live soccer and they're in town, great. There's live soccer. But I mean, these are in no way, shape, or form teams that are going to inspire anybody to, A, really get attached to them, or B, think they're going to be anything special. Maybe Los Dos are fun just because they don't usually play defense. But
Yeah, I mean LA too, and I think Portland could make it. Portland could make it go out. They've been okay. Sporting Kansas City, we still remember in the last 5 years they've made it the finals twice.
yeah,
They could turn it back around, but
horse of a different name.
yeah. I mean, they're both. I could see one of them like sneaking into that 10th spot though.
Moving upward, D tier. What are these teams?
The irrelevant pool.
Okay, all right. I mean, I disagree on one.
Yeah, there's one that's the biggest difference of any of us.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I'm prepared to talk about it. So, yeah, the D tier. Which Pony thinks are the irrelevant teams. I think there's some fun to be had with these rosters and these sides.
Me too.
But yeah, again, we're not into the nice creamy center of the league yet.
The thing about this is that it's not necessarily irrelevant. It depends on the playoff number, which I assume is staying the same, which is way too big. Yeah. So
I guess you could say it's like the Birmingham last year tier.
Yeah.
The 2019 Legion tier. Oh god.
So like any of these teams in row D, like they should be happy if they slip in kind of like Birmingham, basically. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
but they could.
This is the like happy if you're competitive all throughout the year tier.
Promotions to stay relevant tier.
Couldn't afford.
Do well enough this year so that we can put you in tier C next year. Tier.
Right.
Wait till 2021.
Yeah, the 2021 tier.
Outside of Loudoun and RGV, and obviously the latter of those may lose that. These are basically the kind of low-end independent clubs.
That's definitely a better way to title this tier for sure. Yeah, I like that.
Ryan mentioned two of them. It's Vegas, Memphis, Colorado Springs, Hartford, Loudoun United, and Rio Grande Valley. Guys, listen.
You have a lot to talk about in this one because you have 3 teams you liked in this group.
I have a team that I really like, and then 2 others that I'm like, I didn't mean to do that. One of those teams, Vegas, I didn't mean to do that. That was my fault. The one that I'm actually a little surprised to see this low is the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Alan Coach has done many good things. He will continue to do them. They only have 20 players in their roster right now, which is a little low. And by that I mean is pretty low. But like Jordan Bird's here. Like Mamadi Kamara, I think is an interesting name that no one's ever heard of. Like George Labessa is another one. Aiden Daniels is here, and I like him a lot. Like Nicky Jackson, Christian Valeski. I think they have some nice pieces up front. Austin DeWing is kind of an interesting one. Luke Ferreira is another interesting guy. Like they have some good names. They brought in 2 of the kids from the Rapids. They have a Sean Melvin who's in from the Whitecaps on a free. Who has your number 1 goalkeeper as a 25-year-old is not that bad. He was with Fresno, and then went back to Vancouver. So they have guys. Like, this is not as barren as a roster as I thought they were last year. Again, like, it's only 20 people, and that's a little weird, but I think they're tapping into kind of the right sort of market for what they want to be. And Allen, if nothing, is a good USL coach, and he's done it on both, on both coasts, quote unquote, but in both conferences. And I like a fair bit of the pieces they brought in. They have Andre Lewis, who's a midfield attacker from Jamaica who came in from Portmore United, who made a little bit of noise. What was it, last week or this weekend that just passed? And they produce a good number of MLS guys. Corey Burke is from there. So it'll be interesting. They got Corey Moto from Fresno. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
I am
and
too.
They're going to be a defensive-ish team, and that'll probably help them.
Maybe so. I like to think back because now he's on a talent level at or below the Whitecaps 2 team that he used to coach. So that team looked really good at times, and they weren't working with anything terribly special. So he might be a good coach. He might be better than we've been.
One very special piece with the Whitecaps too.
Yeah. But he wasn't that guy yet.
He's still tearing it up with Munich right now, and it remains to be seen if Colorado Springs still has that, or will it have a player like that. But I put them in my bottom tier. It's the only independent side that I placed in my personal rankings down in E.
What if they loan in Alfonso Davies?
Well, then they become like an A tier team immediately.
Okay, yeah. The thing about so I was trying to give
manager experiment.
I was trying to give nice things to say about them, and it's like that and Koch and the good players you're talking about, Evan. But like the 2 really bad things, Steve Trittschuh, their previous coach from last year and years before that, was talking, and he's not been nice to his previous organization. Sure. He was saying on the This Is Silly podcast that they would send Rapids players up, and we've talked about this before, how they got really bad Rapids players and they had no choice who they got, and they needed to fill their roster out, and all they got was stuff that wasn't up to the USL level. And they were counting on that. They were expecting that to get them through. So that was a problem. And then he kind of said that there's a guy getting him players from international teams that aren't up to snuff, and he knew they weren't going to be. And that guy, I think, it might still be there. So depending on who's bringing in those internationals, that guy might not have the best eye, but if Koch is helping him or doing it himself, he does have a good eye. So,
and I think Coach Trittschuh, this is nothing about him as a coach or anything like that, but I think Koch is more of a guy that's used to the first team going, hey, these are your guys.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, and Koch is going to have to do it this year. That's why
for sure.
I don't think it's him. I don't even think it's some of their best players, like you mentioned, Evan. I think it's just the organization and depth is going to get them throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're trying to at least just kind of ride out the year when they eventually move into the newer stadium next season, when they can make a bigger splash on that market.
I hope so. That would be great. Rooting for you, Switchbacks. I love the team, They've had some good years in the past, so.
It's a great place to watch a match. I was able to see one in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised to see Memphis here, to be honest.
I don't know.
I mean, they just don't look. We saw that they were last year, and I don't see anything that makes me think they're any better this year. While a lot of other teams are taking some sort of step forward.
Maybe that's the D tier. The D tier is you don't really. It doesn't look like you've improved.
Well, depending on where you are. I mean, there's some teams that they ran back their same roster and still have them in the high level team.
Well, yeah, that's a budget thing.
Yeah,
which is the name of the A tier.
True. I think the one that the one in D tier that I think I'm most optimistic on is actually Loudoun, who over the last third of the year. Over the last third of the year, if they played that way the whole season, they were a playoff team.
Oh yes,
they actually got really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost players, but it's like better Montreal, I guess.
Yeah.
Montreal, but actually like a step up. So I could see them snag that 10th spot this year.
Me too. And I agree with you on Memphis too. I think you stated it perfectly. But yeah, Loudon, like you said, Loudon lost some guys. Like Murphy, I think, went to the Rowdies, and a lot of their best players left. But those guys, I feel like, were a little underappreciated when they went to Loudon. So maybe someone at Loudon has a good eye too. So that's something to watch. Maybe the veterans coming in will kind of carry the team, like I feel like Murphy did.
C tier.
Probably playoffs tier. Bottom playoffs.
Yeah, I think this is the team that you want in playoffs for. I think this is if they miss play-in round, it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Here we go. El Paso, Reno, St. Louis, San Antonio, Tulsa, Austin, Birmingham, Charlotte, Oklahoma City.
Some interesting teams in this tier.
It's a fun one.
I think we got all, as far as we all kind of agree on most of these. We all had them as that C, maybe B, maybe D tier for all these teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
last year's Western Conference finalist El Paso has now fallen down into this tier as well.
Yeah, I had them in B for sure, but I guess some guys had them, or a lot of you guys probably had them in C, maybe 2 or 3 of you.
Yeah.
It was split. The two of us had them in B, the other guys had them in C.
Yeah.
I really like Rejuvenated Tulsa.
Yeah, it's
You really like them.
I do Art Deco, but chemistry is my big thing with a team that has that much change year over year. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I think the other thing that for me I've kind of always aware of Tulsa is they've never been a team that's really better than that C tier. Even when they were playing good their first season, they're still just a borderline play-in team. I kind of need to see them take a big step forward, especially on defense.
Look good.
But they have a lot of good signings this year. They've had a lot of good signings. I could see them making a good run, but I kind of need them to prove it and be a good defense before I could say, yes, they're a good team.
Mm-hmm. And, they're going to have to figure out how to be this different style team as well. Last year, I talked to the coach, and he was saying how last year they relied a lot on set pieces and things like that because they had to sit back and counter. This year, they're going to try to be a legit team, and sometimes that's harder. It's definitely more of an adjustment for sure. So, I think they'll have an adjustment period, and maybe the middle of the season toward end, they'll peak and maybe be strong enough to get higher than we have them even right now. We'll see. That's another one. It's like you're rooting for them. Like you want a bad club that's been around for a long time to kind of recover and become something special, especially when they're getting more money and stuff like that now.
If I can stake a claim to something as someone that knew that Santi Moore was going to have a lot of fun out in the Western Conference, Bradley Bourgeois is about to eat.
I mean, you have Liba Maloto as well with Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tulsa's taking a step forward, but I'm just scared of that defense who allowed about 70 goals last year.
Tulsa was like, hey, Nashville, who don't you want? Great. What did they play? They're both forward. Great. Give them a... Yeah, Bourgeois is going to have a lot of fun out in the West, I think. He's going to have some time.
He's from Tulsa, too, so that's pretty cool.
No, he's a Texas boy.
Oh, well, okay. The coach coached him, so I assumed that was in Tulsa.
Yeah.
My mistake.
He's got roots out there, but he's from Cyprus.
I say this year also has the now super popular Birmingham side in it.
What was funny? Friend of the show, Hugh Roberts, posted a tweet of an interview he did with a couple of Charlotte media folks down there for his ESPN radio show, which awesome. Yeah. He was wearing a Legion kit. And I was like, what a wild way to announce that you were transferring. He's not, but what a wild way that would be to be like, haha, surprise, different team.
It's funny.
It's just to randomly wear another team's kit in a photo op and be like, whoops, sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I think Birmingham's going to come down to how big of an impact people like Brett have coming in on the offense. Mm-hmm. Because Birmingham was the second worst offense. And that's not second worst offense of teams who made the playoffs or second worst offense in the East. They were the second worst offense in the entire league last year.
Tony, depending on where you put the emphasis, it is the second worst offensive team who made the playoffs.
No, they actually were the worst offensive team. Well, I guess if you want to say who scored in the playoffs, but
yeah.
He had a former Crew player, and Alex Cornelli is signing with Birmingham as well.
That's right, yeah. I kind of rated him at Columbus. No one else did, so that's fine, but that's a good signing.
Yeah, I just don't. I think they're going to be in that same group again, where it's going to be 9th to 12th place. Birmingham's going to lock in there and maybe get lucky and get out of the playoff round.
So, but they brought in some guys, right? So I pulled up the roster because I forgot all the guys they got. They got Nico Brett, Alex Crognale, maybe that's it. Mikey Lopez. Maybe that's it. No, Matt Van Okel. I don't know. They pulled in some guys who have experience and are like known commodities. I think they'll be.
Crognale are really like that's good.
Yeah.
Especially to pull Nico from Pittsburgh, which
right.
I didn't see coming.
No.
Yeah, I just think they're going to need an extra 15 goals this year if they want to be a good team, and I don't think they pulled in the players who actually make that happen.
What's his name's returning? Correct. Sorry, I don't know his name.
Chandler Hoffman.
Chandler Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chandler Hoffman still under
contract. But that was like they got what they got with him. Like I think Brett adds like 10, but I don't think like Nico Brett and Chandler Hoffman are like a 40 goal pairing.
So
yeah, it's almost like a team of who's needs to play lily ball, but they don't have the offense to actually play lily ball, which is pretty scary to say.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was the big news for me. Last year, J.J. Williams was like the guy that like pulled them into the playoffs, in my opinion, and he just got waived by Columbus. So he's available. If Birmingham can get him, they need to, in my opinion. They got to rustle up the money.
I don't think he stays unsigned for much longer.
I don't either.
I really don't. You know what? He might even end up over in Pittsburgh.
At least circling back to Nico Brett, he scored 17 goals in 2019. But another team I think that we were talking about in chat that I wanted to bring up was Harry had mentioned that Austin Bold is his pick for a side that would drop furthest in the Western Conference.
I think it's a good shout. 1 year older, he said. So.
I mean, the big transfer that kind of sticks out to me that I'm looking at through the very helpful USL transfer tracker is that they're able to get Billy Forbes as a free agent.
Omovi Akuga's only 28. Sorry.
Another one. Alan just said that they lost a lot of guys in Reno. So he's listing Clementa, Casipli, Mendiola, Lacroix, Musovski. So, those aren't huge names, but I'm sure they were all goal scorers.
And we're looking at a Reno team who finished second in the Western Conference last year on 60 points.
Yeah, but it's also Reno, and Reno is always good.
Yeah, they're weird hard to play at home.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did it while I pulled up the average points gained per game of teams in regular season for like modern USL. Reno's the second best team in the regular season over all their seasons, and I have to say they're going to be an okay team again until they actually prove me wrong. It's not a fluke to be one of the best teams for so many years.
Yeah, and their 3 seasons of play, they finished 3rd, 5th, and 2nd. This past season was actually their highest finish position in USL.
I had a really big tier B, and Reno was definitely up there for me. And that was a good thought there, Pony, too. They're an attacking team. They're open. They give up some goals here and there and will lose more games than they should, but they're so good. They just haven't performed in the playoffs. So,
Yep, they're in B tier for me. I would never pick them to win the playoffs, but I think they're going to make it, and they should be on the better end of it.
Yeah. Got to figure out that playoff thing.
Of tier B, we'll move on. Like solid playoff teams.
I think it's like the dark horses.
North Carolina, Orange County, New Mexico, Red Bull 2, Sac Republic, San Diego Loyal, Charleston, Battery.
These should be playoff teams.
They easily should be playoff teams. There's enough room here for everybody. In fact, it is, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Western Conference, 3 Eastern Conference. So that works out.
I felt bad. My Eastern Conference, it's really top heavy Eastern Conference for me.
No, I mean, it's understandable.
Oh, but actually, I think Harry said that. And in the Western Conference from 2 to 12, it's pretty hard to mix it up. So I think that's true. That's why this tier and the tier below it has tons and tons of Western Conference teams.
I'd love to talk about Orange County for 2 seconds, if I may.
Please.
Their relationship with Rangers is going to be really interesting to watch this year.
Agreed.
They brought in Cameron Palmer, who is a 19-year-old who has dual citizenship with Canada and Northern Ireland. Has 13 Scottish Championship games where he has 1 goal and 2 assists in like 845 minutes, and is on loan until November 30th with Orange County. With Rangers? No, with Orange County. Yeah, so he's a Rangers 2 boy. Rangers loaned him out to Partick Thistle, and now he's in Orange County. I think he'll be an interesting one to watch. And then Daniel Finlayson is another Northern Irish kid that they jettisoned off to Orange County, and he has UEFA Youth League experience this year. 2 goals and 1 yellow card in 5 appearances.
Let's not gloss over the big signing of who's made his return back to USL with Sean Coley.
Yeah, and Ugo just joined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Thomas Enevoldsen getting balls from Sean Coley.
I'm excited to see how he does if he's lost a step since last in USL. Has he been in New York all this time, or did he go somewhere else?
No, he's
yeah.
He went to a side over in Sweden, and that I won't try and pronounce. This side in Norway, and he's coming in from another side in Austria before he is now returning to Orange County. In that time, he didn't really play too much of a season and only scored about 5 goals in that interim.
Yeah, Orange County, I think, you guys had him down in the B tier. I had him in A, and I think you guys are sleeping on Orange County. I think they actually could be. I think they're in the conversation for the 3rd best team in the entire league right now.
Wow.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah. I say they lost 1 player so far. They lost Seaton, which is, it's a big loss, but look at all the talent they brought in. They brought in Okoli. They brought in Enevoldsen. They brought in Kasiple. They brought in all the guys from the Rangers on loan. This is a team that has got better than last year. And I remember going into the playoffs last year, I was saying when they matched up with the Monarchs, the team that won that game, if Phoenix didn't win the West, it was going to be one of those 2 teams. And it went through that way, and Orange County is going to be a very dangerous team this year. I think they're clearly the 2nd best team in the West, and I think you could really make the argument it's between them and maybe spoilers of them and Miami for number 3 in the league right now.
I like it. I know OC was injured in the beginning of last year and got a late start, and they did catch up toward the end of the season. So I'm not doubting that, Phony. I think they're a talented team that knows how to win when they figure things out. But they did also lose Sutton. So it's like Okoli kind of has to come in and be Sutton, you know what I mean? Or better.
Yeah. They brought in 2 people who both could easily have 10 goals.
Okay.
I think right there, that's worth the loss of him.
Yeah. That's high praise. I'm not there. I would give him, 3rd or 4th in the West, but I'm not sure.
And I think they were smart to get Frederick Dew from Hartford as well.
Yeah, they've made a lot of good moves this offseason.
Yeah, they picked up Rob Kiernan from Southend United, which is an interesting one. Although, never bet against an Irish guy that's been kicking around in lower leagues and in the UK. So, especially at that age.
I said Sutton, it's Seaton. My bad. Y'all knew what I meant.
That's all right. Hey, speaking of things that are all right, A tier. No, just kidding, Phil. I should give you some props. Charleston Battery seem revitalized in a big way.
The
Um,
the club structure and everything, yeah.
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they do now that they have an actual structure.
And a smart owner, a guy that gets it. He gets the soccer side, the grassroots side. It's exciting. So
Pony, is that an adequate amount of love for Sacramento Republic?
I think it's about right. I've actually has actually lower in the middle of the people, but maybe my classic pessimistic attitude from living in Sacramento, being a Sacramento sports fan, is coming through there.
My
But
boy Drew Skunders scored twice.
yeah, I mean, they did have a good win against San Jose in a friendly, but we'll see how it goes. I think somewhere around what they did last year is more or less where I think they're going to be. I don't think they have enough talent to really win the West or make a super deep playoff run, but I do think they will be in that same range where fourth to seventh, something like that. They'll be relevant. They'll be a good team. They'll have enough talent where they could get hot and they could make a deep run, but I just don't really see it from what they currently have. I'm not sure if they're just not quite ready to make that let's sell out for MLS next year move. I'm sure that could be part of why they're not doing anything major yet, but
some signings for them that got me is they got Rodrigo Lopez back, who's the guy that basically got them to the final in their first year, right? And then Carlton Belmar's there, so I could see him being really good in an open system like Sacramento, even like a bomb it and go kind of thing. Like Belmar can definitely do that well. Thomas Hilliard Arce is a bit of a deep shout, but I've always thought he was better than the Galaxy allowed him to be on the field.
It's crazy that he was like a first round, like a really high first round pick for them, and now he's there.
It is. I think they're going to be good.
That's it. They've lost some scoring talent too. I mean, Ed Olsen's gone.
Yeah.
Bonomo retired randomly. So that was two very talented offensive players from them. They brought back some people, but
what I do like, and this is a weird, just kind of coincidental thing, but it might mean something. It's kind of nice that you have two guys on your team that play in positions that they need to communicate to each other, who won 4 NCAA titles in a row.
That's always useful.
In the backyard they play in now. So that's nice. Nice to see Drew Skundrich and Tomas Hilliard Arce together.
I like it.
Yeah, they could be good. I think putting them in the high and B, low and A is probably the right area for Sacramento.
Yeah. I like that.
A tier. Indy 11, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Real Monarchs, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and Miami FC. The budget. Pony, what did you say earlier? You were like, yeah, budget helps with that. It's the budget helps with that tier.
It is.
Indy 11. Oh, let's bring in Connor Antley and Drew Connor and Jeremy Raffanello and Carl Hayworth and Nick Moon and Jefferson Contreras, who played for Deportivo Cali's U20s. Like, Oh, and we didn't lose anybody either. All right, great.
Yep.
You'll be fine. Just Real Monarchs don't lose anybody all the time anyway. Tampa Bay Rowdies bought half the players in the world, and Miami bought the other half.
If you're just gonna scroll through Miami, aside from the players that did resign, they got Romario Williams from Columbus. We take in Vincent Betancourt, Lance Rosenboom resigned. Brian Silvestre basically moved up from Madison into Miami, and then Sebastian Valaquez from El Paso. This will be a very good team that will be playing in USL this year.
Yeah, I actually had Miami in like the middle to low tier A team. Then with trying to or kind of debating online with someone about why they should be an A tier team and convince myself they should be a top tier A team at the same time. And that on paper, Miami is just completely stacked. There's no reason why they shouldn't be a top couple team of the East. It's just a matter if they come together good enough with all their new players despite having half the roster played in Nisa last season.
Their 2 starting center backs are going to be Old Man Lawrence Alome and Hassan and Dom.
That's awesome. That's
Put
great.
Lawrence Alome in a time capsule and go back like 4 years, and that's horrifying. It's probably like scary enough now, but like, good God.
I mean,
Both those guys in their prime would be, air quotes, their prime, because Hassan and Dom is 21, and that means he's over the hill.
I mean, I put Miami in my B tier just because since we saw Sacramento in 2014, we hadn't quite seen a team in that like an expansion side, USL side, truly like just dominate the league up to that point. I just always had that hesitancy that any new expansion side may play well, but they may have trouble getting over that final hump.
I mean, they're not a brand new team though. They have like 10 to 12 people brought back that played together last year. It's new for the USL, but I think that's enough chemistry to not have them be like, hey, brand new team popped up out of nowhere like San Diego. I mean, these guys know each other to a certain extent, and if the new guys could integrate themselves very well quickly, Miami's going to be in that top position chase, especially if the team we haven't talked about yet starts off like they did last year.
I guess I was more looking at it as coming up from Nisa when you had to play the likes of Atlanta SC and Matt Driver's Philadelphia Fury.
Well, you didn't have to do that second part.
Former Philadelphia Fury.
There you go. Hey, Lance Roseboom's there too. Just, you know.
And Burton Griffiths. There's another name.
They're loaded, but like they're still. It's new. It's a new league. Yeah, it's a new league for them, and like you've said. But if you looked at Indy and Nashville last year, the beginning of the year before we started, we would say similarly that those teams were loaded. I think they're pretty close as far as a roster build. So that combined with a new league, I think they'll struggle at first, at least, and they could, fly high by the end. But I don't think they'll go crazy this year. I think next year, if they do the same thing again and keep a lot of their roster, they're going to destroy. That's my bet.
Yeah, and we all agree on this tier too. I think looking at it, Ryan was the only one who had any of these guys out of the top tiers, and that was dropping Miami down one, and Phil had Real Monarchs down in the tier B, but everyone else had them as a A or even S tier in some cases.
Yeah, Real Monarchs, I know I'm low on them, but I think it just depends on who they keep and who they send up. And, they're putting a lot more faith than they ever did in the USL players at Real Salt Lake. And so, if we don't see Jack Blake down there every single game, or if we don't see little bits of Chang here and there, are there enough players to like reboot and make them as good as they were last year? I think their system is a big play in that, and so I think the answer very well could be yes, but they've looked terrible in preseason without those guys, so if they don't get them, I think they're kind of screwed, but if they do, I'm going to be wrong on that one.
I mean, I agree. I had them on like the very, very end of the A tier for me because they lost a lot of big players. And let's not forget, last year they did win it all, but they weren't the number one seed. They never were running away with the West. They were always in that middle pool, which is kind of that low-end A, high-end B setup. And they just got hot at the right time, rattled off a lot of good performances and wins. And I think it's going to be the same this year for them.
They got to get, Joe Gallardo up and running? Is that name correct? Yeah, they got to get him up to speed with the USL Championship, and maybe they can make a comeback there.
I mean, if we're going to look at Real Monarchs getting hot at the right time, from September 14th until they won the final, they only lost once.
Yeah.
They could do it for sure.
That certainly helps. The Hounds only have 15 people on the roster, but I know that doesn't matter because it's not the beginning of the season yet.
I dare you all to doubt them. Dare you, like I did.
I'm not trembling at this. I don't know anything about Mark Lindstrom. I don't know anything about Shelly Asani, which is what I'm going to go with.
He's Mark Lindstrom's a UNCW guy.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Wembia, they grabbed from Bowling Green. it's Bob Lilly doing Bob Lilly things, and that's worked every year before. So why not again? Because I'm not dumb this year, and I won't say it.
Papamensa stays in USL, moving over from Nashville.
That's a big one for sure. I think he's going to do well. Kevin Kerr retired. That's a big one that I have to mention.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, it's good that he's in with the team.
Big fan of that guy. But yeah, I agree. But the team will miss his presence for sure on the field.
Valesky had his option decline. I know Phil from his son with St. Louis that you always like to keep an eye on Valesky.
Did he go somewhere yet? I feel like he did. Or is it, I might have been thinking of someone else.
Yeah, no, he's with
Is it Hartford?
Colorado Springs, I think.
Over to Colorado Springs.
Yep. There you go. I couldn't believe. Yeah.
We got him, Phil. You're safe.
Thanks, pal.
He can't hurt you now. He's in Colorado.
Unless St. Louis changes conferences again.
Yeah, right.
There's that.
Never too late.
Phil, there's always a chance he can hurt you. You never know. Hey, S tier, no surprise. There's only 2 teams left. It's Louisville City and it's Phoenix. Okay, great.
Yeah, these 2 teams their expectations should be winning the title.
Yeah. Hey, look, their expectations are high. We'll see you in the final.
The big topic is, did Phoenix reload the right way, and did they get enough?
Signed 900 people. Asterisk. It wasn't that many.
It was a lot.
But
I like reading the debates. It's been fun for sure.
But
Santi Moore kind of leads all the brand new signings, and then you return players like Junior Flemings, Kevon Lambert, Solomon Asante. If you look at other ones, you get Sam Stanton over from Dundee United, Lagos Kunga up on loan from Atlanta United.
That's a big one. I forgot about him. He's good.
Yeah.
Darnell King is staying in USL. He's signed over from Nashville. Jordan Schweitzer changes Colorado Springs for Phoenix.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
You could basically make a team of just the people Phoenix has brought in this season, and they'd probably be a B-tier team.
It would be. I mean... You know what I really want though?
They signed 4 players. You could definitely make a team from that.
I want everyone to do a futsal team, like a 5-a-side futsal team. And I want Phoenix's to be Kevon Lambert, John Vaquero, Junior Fleming, Santi Moore, and Solomon Asante. And I just want to watch them break people's ankles for like 20 minutes.
That'd be a lot of fun. That would be
not mine. No one get any ideas, but
USL All-Star Break Challenge.
Yeah, USL All-Star Break Challenge. Just split my legs wide open, please. just turn my legs into powder.
And then going over towards the other side, Louisville remains pretty much mostly the same side that they have.
Yeah, they got a pretty good goal scorer back.
Corbin Bones signed from SC Cincinnati comes in. And you bring in Cameron Lancaster on loan from Nashville.
That's who I meant, Corbin Bone.
Carson.
Yeah, naming players that I've seen.
No, that's cool.
Wilmington Hammerhead, who had spent a little bit of time up in MLS with FC Cincinnati.
Or Philadelphia Union. Come on now.
Carson in Lou City said he's excited for Akil Watts from Mallorca. So that's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah. Listen, if Cameron Lancaster can go back to being Cameron Lancaster, like everyone in USL knows him, then that's going to be a bit of an issue.
They also exercise the option on Anthony Hopnot.
Did they do?
I think
he's back or he's not back. Sorry.
No, he's back.
They exercise the option on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think with what Louisville's done, I think they're actually become the favorites for me this season.
Plus, you're getting into the new stadium.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. The joke's going to be they're not going to do as well this year, and everyone's going to blame the grass and the turf and the dirt and the mound.
The level playing field, as it were.
Yeah, I can hear Reddit now.
Yeah. I can't because I choose not to. Nashville can recall Cameron Lancaster. I don't think that's a part of their plan.
No, I don't think so
I don't.
either.
I don't know. And you really like unless Nashville's forwards go down, like, and they need a dude for some depth. They have, what is that? One, two, three, four. They have four center forwards, and I can't imagine they set up at two. Like everything that they've said makes it seem like they're not going to play two guys up front.
No, I don't think so either.
Like they're gonna want to play deep. So I don't think there's a whole lot of danger. I say this now in February of Cameron Lancaster going back to Nashville. I say I don't think there's a whole lot of danger from the perspective of Louisville City fans. Not I notice how I didn't say I don't think there's a whole lot of potential for everyone to be relieved by Cameron Lancaster going back up to Nashville. But yeah, and listen, that roster is so consistently similar and what it is, and Hackworth has those guys into that system, and they really want that third star. Not to say that Phoenix really doesn't want their first, but it's two teams that have gone about trophy hunting in very different ways.
I like that.
I mean, last year's Phoenix team, we saw their unbelievable run that they had in the season, which unfortunately came up short in the playoffs. But if you looked at my ELO ratings, that was statistically the best side we'd seen in USL history.
Can I bring it back? There are some teams we didn't mention.
Yeah, go for
it. Tier B, looking at that again, we didn't say a lot about North Carolina FC, New Mexico United, Red Bull 2 being a little bit weird this year, and then San Diego Loyal, where they've got some great signings, but they're a new team. Those are all teams. Pony, I don't know. What do you think about a few of those you've spoken about already offline?
Yeah, I think they all are in that really high upside group. I mean, that's B is the teams who I think are the ones who we go, oh yeah, if they make a completely dominant run, none of us are going to go, how did this ever happen? But I think they're going to more slide into that. These are a good team. You need to be concerned about them as a team week to week. Like you don't want to see, you never want to go to New Mexico. You never want to go to San Diego. Well, presumably I don't actually have, maybe it's going to be a good place to play. Who knows? But I think there's teams who have a lot of potential, but there's just one or two missing pieces that keep us afraid of saying they're actually going to be an elite side.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Loyal's roster makeup. Like it's Jake Finlayson, then it's Joe Greenspan and Emmerich Clementa and Jack Metcalf's there, and Salzizo came out of retirement to do this, which is fun. And like Colin Martin and Charlie Adams are there. But again, new team. Those dudes haven't played with each other for more than a month right now. Who knows?
I will say Loyal did have I know you had mentioned in chat that you don't rate preseason as much, but they did have at least a decent win over a Costa Rican top flight team.
I think the USL is catching up to middle of Costa Rica and lower a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking at their team. It's going to be okay. I just don't see this lineup they have as being anything that you could call elite. It's just going to be, they're okay. They're decent. They're an above average team, and I think that's all you can really say about them. There's no one on that roster that makes you go, oh no, them. I'm terrified of that player.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll kind of look back on this San Diego side, that they'll kind of become like an El Paso, Austin, or New Mexico team, all three of which were playoff teams from last year. El Paso 6th, but Austin 8th, New Mexico 10th. That they may start out hot and then just kind of stay always consistently in the playoff picture, but not one of those light the world on fire teams.
Yeah, I think that's what their story is going to be. They're going to be one of those teams who shows up, probably makes playoffs, and probably doesn't last too long in the playoffs.
I like New Mexico's. I like some of their moves. Like Kalen Ryden's a good move. Landon Southwick was really high on him when we had him on before the final. David Niem's there. Andrew Tenari's there. Armando Moreno's there. That's a fun one. That's a weird one. Like
how bring in Romeo Parks though.
Yeah, they brought in that guy.
Forgot.
On loan from Sligo Rovers.
Yeah, they're. I heard good things out of Ireland. I will say. I talked to Colin Murphy from the Greatest League in the World podcast and the Forgotten Clubs podcast, and then he said he showed well and he got on with people in Sligo. So who knows?
Yeah, okay, just kick that can down the road.
Yeah. All right. Good. Yeah. North Carolina. Anytime you lose your captain, is going to be a weird one. But I mean, I think that roster is largely unchanged from last year. At least
it seems. Yeah, I mean, it all seems mostly pretty straightforward. Manny Perez on loan from Celtic is the one player that I'm pretty excited for, but they also bring in Haji Berry from Ottawa Fury.
Mm-hmm.
You re-sign Alex Backus. So North Carolina will be bringing back a rather solid team. I mean, this was an NCFC side who finished in 7th of the Eastern Conference last year.
And I've actually, I can't remember who it was, but Louisville was trying to sign someone this year that they didn't get. But if they keep aiming for like the kind of players they're looking for as like depth replacements for later in the season, and if they continue and NCFC continue to find those young national team players that have gone abroad and could come back, like those guys could be stunners in the USL. And I just hope to see more of those guys. It's fun.
Phil, did you mean that Louisville City tried to get a new crest and just didn't do that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. And it was so good, too. It was so good.
Great.
Good thought there. Good thought.
Thank you.
Do we need to talk about Birmingham and Birmingham?
Would you like to talk about either of those? Okay.
It's been beaten to death, but it's fun.
Yes. I really think that we should. I think it's wild that a USL Championship team got a shout out in a English Football League Championship match.
It's incredible. Their fans were rabid against Memphis 901.
I feel so sorry for the Memphis social media guy.
That is a boost to Memphis social media guy or human. Or dog, who knows?
I think he's dead, actually.
Just calling sick for a week at that point.
I can't imagine, and I'm sure, I hope it's all in jest, but I can't imagine going to the owner or whatever, or whoever, I guess the director of communications at that point. Yeah, your boss, and then that, but whatever. And just going, oh, yeah, our interactions are really through the roof this week, and they'll be like, oh cool, what happened? A bunch of people from Birmingham in England found us.
So
what was crazy, didn't Birmingham figure out that they played the Roughnecks like forever ago, like in the 70s?
Yeah,
and they brought that up. That was really cool.
That was cool.
Another history, my two favorite things that I found kind of related as like memes that were shared online. One I created, and then one that the great Mike Pendleton created was that one meme of the guy talking to the really disinterested girl in a bar with the comment, like, this is happening somewhere in Birmingham, with the guy saying it's like, so yeah, there's this team over in the United States called Birmingham Legion, like ... And then the one that I shared on Reddit, you guys can go back to the USL Pro site and Reddit. It was the two arms holding one. I had Birmingham Legion on one arm, Birmingham City on the other, with holding in the middle, finishing mid-table in the championship.
Yeah, that was so good.
It's absolutely going to be true.
I do actually. You know what? The best part is the Birmingham City fans chanting, what was it, like shit on the Memphis?
Yep.
Yeah.
During one of Birmingham City's games.
So
the timeline's broken.
That's such like a 5-layer deep joke. Because it's like the players don't know. Like, so my big question is, do people in England know what Memphis is?
No way.
Because I mean Elvis, but
I guess.
But I mean, and then it's like, oh yeah, they're chirping a rival team. No, not of their club, and not even of an affiliate.
Yeah,
it's just a club that has the same city name as they do.
I mean, did we even really consider Memphis and Birmingham rivals like last year?
No,
thank you. I did not think they were.
Yeah.
I will say, if you're looking at the 2020 schedule, third game of the year for Birmingham, they actually travel to Memphis at AutoZone Park on Saturday, March 28th.
I know we're never going to see them, but I'd love to see the ESPN Plus numbers for that match.
Well, international
It's
was
for the
YouTube,
international
right?
one.
Yeah, we got to watch YouTube for that. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I'll be
And it has
curious
YouTube
with
chat.
not only that, this will be probably the highest interacting like USL match that we've seen since it was still on YouTube, and we had a bunch of foreign gamblers come in and try and ask like what the quality of the league is.
I remember that. Good
Good
times.
times. Good times.
People talking to people from Portugal while I watch Vancouver and Los Dos face off against each other.
Oh boy.
Happens.
We do get the pleasure of having Birmingham and Memphis face off 3 times this year.
Great. Good scheduling.
Awesome.
Good scheduling.
It's like they knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, any other thoughts?
No, man, this is good.
All right. Cool. If you want to follow us, you can do that at the USL Show. Feel free to download our podcast anywhere you get your podcast. If you found it without listening to us previously, please get in touch. Let us know how you did that. I'm curious. Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, all that fun stuff. You can find. Actually, I'll let you guys do it, partly because I forget what Pony's handle is. So sue me. Ryan, what's your Twitter handle? And what's my favorite airport in the Carolinas?
My Twitter handle is at ILM_Ryan.
Yeah, I thought it was my favorite airport. Pony, what's your Twitter handle? If people need to tell you how wrong you are about how good Sacramento's going to be.
Yeah, I expect hate at this point in my life, but it's always at USL_Pony.
Right. Or actually, I should have said, what's your Twitter handle for when the USL interns have to find you? As a part
It's
of
still the same, but
initiation onboarding game where they're like, please go find Pony, and they'll be like, Genuine, is he here?
it's like, this is a practical joke, right? No, this is your life now. Congratulations.
I hope more people than just Phil get the Genuine joke when this episode drops.
Surely
if they don't,
do.
it's fine. I don't think I'm that old, but maybe I am. Phil, where can people find you?
Phil Grooms, 2 L's, 2 O's.
Yeah. Where can people find the more popular, success,ful version of you that gets mentioned?
That's right. At Phil Groom, 1 L, no S.
Yeah. You've made the burner account. That's actually a more successful account than your account.
Super,
That guy does a show called Layover Soccer, which is where you're stuck in an airport for a couple hours. So you crank out a few articles.
That sounds like someone that would definitely happen for sure.
I think that's just what Matt Doyle does.
Maybe so.
Maybe. Anyway, if you need to hear more of me or not read any of my opinions or stay away from me on Twitter, what have you, at Speak Evan Speak. It's the only thing that I do consistently besides disappoint my parents. So thank you so much for asking. Other than that, Tulsa, feel free to send me a kit. I'll wear it. Thanks for watching.
Any team, feel free to send me a kit.
Really, if anyone wants to send us merch, I have space. If you can, 4 people will see it. There's a little spot right there behind that redacted team scarf and that redacted team banner. So feel free to send us stuff.
We all have scarves.
See this scarf? Scarves are flags.
Yeah.
Well, we can't see Ryan, so I think he's probably just lying to us about that.
Yeah, I think he just lays his scarves out on the floor and sleeps on them because he's in college. Anyway, until next week, folks, thanks for listening. And we do only have one rule here, and that's don't be a dick.